Janine.
Laura.
Allie.
Winnie.
Got it.
And you are?
Raouf. On my,
And I'm stuck, sorry.
I'm Brian.
thank you, everybody. Thank you for inviting me today. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. That is through talking to each other like this that we can become healers and promote healing in the world, because the world is hurting. Those around us, and we ourselves are hurting, and we need to be healers. And the spoken word, the way we speak to each other, what we tell each other, can be a part of the healing process, or be a part of the wounding process, because they both are going on at the same time. You know, people are getting wounded, are getting healed, but communicating, speaking to one another is very important. When I was, every semester, at the beginning of every semester, when my class and I meet for the first time, I ask them to talk to each other for a few minutes and then introduce each other to the class. So that really helps break the ice. And so they will, come to the front and introduce each other to the class. And then after everybody has had a chance to introduce somebody, and has been introduced, and it will be my turn, right? And I'll, talk to them a little bit about myself. And I try to be as economical as I can. And then they will ask questions. Of course, I usually tell them how long I have been around. Right? Sometimes I tell them I've been around 18 years. And one of the questions will be, Dr. Mama, you've been around a long time. 18 years. Why? I say, well, because I have nowhere else to go. I'm very happy here. So I bring you greetings and from Eastern, and I'm delighted to be in your company today. I want to talk to you about healing. For the past 5 years, I've been teaching a course entitled Storytelling and Healing. And when I teach that class, I make my students read certain books, certain stories that are really calculated to show us how to live or not to live. Okay? And I usually tell them at the beginning that in order to be a healer, you have to empty yourself out of anger, of jealousy, envy. You have to be kind. That may sound a little simplistic, but unless you purge yourself of those ugly passions of anger, envy, greed, unkindness, you can't really bring healing to anybody. And I also tell them that listening is the key to everything. When you listen to those around you, you have your finger on their pulses. Take a simple example. When we greet each other, do we really mean it when we ask, how are you doing today? Sometimes we don't mean it because we're too busy we're rushing from one task to another. Remember one extraordinary day when I was in pain because I had lost my sister. And a colleague of mine came in. I was in the main office. I tried not to make a show of my sorrow. And he said, "Oh, Raouf, how are you today?" I said, "I lost my sister." "Oh, good, good, good." Good. He wasn't listening.
No.
You know, and so we must mean it when we greet each other. That should be the first connection we make. You don't have to know the person. We must listen to each other. Listen with our hearts. If you take the word heart and you take off the H and the T, what do you have?
Yeah.
We all have an inner ear. And the true healer is she who listens with his or her inner ear. For only then can we hear the roar on the other side of silence. The roar on the other side of silence. Don't ever assume that because somebody is silent, he or she is fine, is happy, has nothing to say. Just listen with your inner ear. I want to share with you a poem. And at the end I'm going to close with a poem. And I want you to say it with me after me, because you may not know the poem. See? Say after me, please. The interview with God.
The interview with God.
I had a dream
I had a dream
that I interviewed God.
that I interviewed God.
So you want to interview me, God said.
So you want to interview me, God said.
If you have the time, I said.
If you have the time, I said.
God smiled.
God smiled.
My time is eternity, he said.
My time is eternity, he said.
So what do you have in mind to ask me?
What do you have in mind to ask me?
And I said,
And I said,
what surprises you the most about humankind?
what surprises you the most about humankind?
And God said,
And God said,
that they get bored with childhood.
that they get bored with childhood.
They rush to grow up
They rush to grow up,
and they long to be children again.
and they long to be children again.
That by focusing so anxiously upon the future,
By focusing so anxiously about the future,
they forget all about the present.
they forget all about the present,
So that in the end,
so that in the end,
they live in neither the present nor the future.
they live in neither the present nor the future.
That they lose their health to make money,
They lose their health to make money,
and then lose their money to restore their health.
and then lose their money to restore their health.
That they live as if they will never die,
They live as if they will never die,
and they die as though they had never lived.
and they die as though they had never lived.
God's hand took mine,
God's hand took mine,
and we were silent a while.
and we were silent a while.
Then I said,
Then I said,
as a parent,
as a parent,
what of life's lessons
what of life's lessons
do you want your children to learn?
do you want your children to learn?
And God said
And God said,
that they cannot make anyone love them.
they cannot make anyone love them.
All they can do
All they can do
is let themselves be loved.
is let themselves be loved.
It's not good to compare oneself to others.
It is not good to compare ourselves to others.
And they must learn forgiveness
And they must learn forgiveness
by practicing forgiveness.
by practicing forgiveness.
That two people can look at the same thing
Two people can look at the same thing
and see it differently.
and see it differently.
It takes just a few moments to open profound wounds
It takes just a few moments to open profound wounds
in those they love,
in those they love,
and it may take many years to heal them.
and it may take many years to heal them.
Now, there are many people who love them dearly,
There are many people who love them dearly,
but who just don't know
but who just don't know
how to show or express it.
how to show or express it.
That the richest person
That the richest person
is not one who has the most,
is not one who has the most,
but one who needs the least.
but one who needs the least.
That it's not enough that they forgive one another.
It is not enough that they forgive one another.
They must also
They must also
forgive themselves.
forgive themselves.
And this above all,
And this above all,
I am here for them always,
I am here for them always,
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 always.
always.
If I say story time, you say story time. Story time.
Story time.
In the years of my childhood, storytelling was the main source of entertainment at home. There was no TV then. I had no books. My stepfather had a radio set, but it was, no one would touch it. I mean, not the children. Only Papa and my mother and my stepmother would touch it. So storytelling was a big event. In the evening, after the evening meal, we the children would gravitate toward the corner that had been set aside for storytelling. There was always a stool there, and we would sit in a semicircle facing the stool and just staring at it and hoping that someone's going to come and sit at the desk. Usually it was my mom. My adoptive mom. But she and I grew so close that everybody called her my elder mom, because she never had any children. She had no idea she was going to be childless when I was born. And she adopted me when I was 3 years old, 3 months old. One of the reasons why she adopted me was that there was a custody battle between my father and my mother. It was a bitter custody battle, but that's another story. So she would come and sit down, and facing us would ask, "Are you all here?" I would say, "Yes, we are." But she would pretend she hadn't heard us. And again she asked, "Are you all here?" "Yes, Mom." But she would be satisfied until she had asked the 3rd time, "Are you all here?" "Yes, we are." And then there would be a pause. And then, to me, what was the most wonderful